Thank you, Deputy. Deputy Smith.
Thank you very much, Concordia. And firstly, I'd like to congratulate Deputy McGuinness here, who has been chairing the Finance Committee in relation to this. Minister, we welcome, of course, the working group's report, and the key issue here, of course, is implementation and the reduction of motor insurance premiums. Premiums for consumers in Cavan, Monaghan and across the country are soaring while the government drags its feet on this issue. Fianna Fáil has long been calling for the government to act on the rising cost of motor insurance, and in 2014 we saw motor insurance increase by an annual rate of over 11%, while in 2015 it rose by 30%. In the 12 months up to August 2016, motor insurance increased by 28%, and that is totally frustrating that it has taken until now for the government to respond on this major issue. Fianna Fáil introduced a policy back in the middle of 2016 on motor insurance premiums and has contributed heavily to the Finance Committee's report on the rising cost of motor insurance. These policies and reports require a government response to tackle the issue. The key recommendations mirror what we propose in our own policy and recommendations put forward by the Finance Committee. The key issue now is implementation. The report is simply no use whatsoever unless it is followed by government action and ultimately reduced motor insurance premiums. People are contacting my constituency office on a weekly and daily basis to complain about rising insurance costs. We've heard of horrendous stories from people who have been involved in accidents in the constituency, and accidents with a person who actually has no insurance. A person who is badly injured in an accident is forced to follow it with the Insurance Federation of Ireland for compensation in relation to these cases. And I'm sorry to say, I do feel that that's a direct result of the government's failure to address the high cost of insurance premiums. Since January 2011, the cost of insurance has rocketed by 51% in some instances, with businesses, customers needing to insure their cars, vans, fleets, buses. They fare out even worse. Some people who have returned to this country to find a job or return to work for the first time since the recession as a self-employed business person have told me they cannot get motor insurance. Fianna Fáil has been consistently raising this issue in the Dáil, putting forward numerous motions and publishing proposals to tackle these exorbitant costs. It is an issue that is affecting thousands of people across Cavan and Monaghan, and motor insurance is not an additional or something extra that we need. It's a legal requirement, and people are now seriously considering whether they can afford a car at all or not. It's a growing irritation among motorists who are having to fork out for insurance, road tax, high fuel costs, and many feeling completely ripped off. Businesses are also being hit with the rise in premiums, squeezing profits and, of course, ultimately risking jobs. It has taken the government too long to wake up to the problem, and it has already turned into a crisis before it was called on the Finance Committee to look at ways to curb the rising costs. These recommendations were signed off last November, and it's only this week they've come to Cabinet. There is no sense of urgency from the government on this, and it is deeply worrying for the thousands of motorists who see their premiums rise week over week, day after day and month after month. I'm worried about the timeline being reported regarding the implementation of the committee's proposals. It has been suggested that it could take as long as 18 months before certain measures, such as the creation of the detailed database to combat fraud, are implemented. This indicates that the government is simply not paying the right attention to the crisis that it needs. The key recommendations around the following issues, which are mirrored both in our own policy and the Finance Committee's recommendations, are protecting the consumer, improving data availability, improving personal injuries claims environment, reducing the costs in the claims process, reducing insurance fraud and the uninsured driving, and of course promoting road safety and reduced collisions. Minister, I am asking you today here to take charge of the situation and ensure that these proposals are implemented without delay, so that the rip-off culture which has perpetrated the insurance industry over the last number of years is effectively tackled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy.